With cases on the rise, capsules on the rise, and everything else, today I want to break down the market and give you my personal thoughts. Now, starting off here with the active duty cases, the active duty cases have just become really interesting. That's because the recoil case is currently the least unboxed active duty case. Now, why is this interesting? Because Valve has a history, and their history shows that they will take out cases prematurely if they're underperforming, and that's exactly what the recoil case is doing. We can compare this to something like the CS20 case, which was removed extremely prematurely because the unboxing rate for it was just not there. SkinSwap is today's sponsor, and they're also sponsoring you with a free bonus for signing up with the first link in the description. They're the premier place for CSGO and Rust skins, with a massive trading site and a top-of-the-line marketplace, offering you the most competitive rates out there and a massive 40% bonus when you're using that link in the description. Combine that with their top-of-the-line selling feature with many payout options, and their trading feature legitimately taking you just about a minute, and there's no reason not to sign up with that first link in the description. With that being said, I still feel like active duty cases are probably not the most ideal investment for so many people unless you have an excess of money and you want to put some in that area. For me, the area that has my interest has got to be the rare cases. There's just so many different opportunities because so many different things can absolutely explode out of nowhere. Look at the chroma cases. All three of the chroma cases are up quite significantly because Dr. Disrespect opened up an M9 Sapphire. Things like that happen all the time inside of rare cases because the supply on them is just so few and far between. There's only 6,000 on average of these cases dropping every single month, which is an extremely low number when you consider that almost all of them are being unboxed significantly more than that. With that being said, I still think that picking up the cases in their current format is probably a good move just because we most likely are going to see the market expand and grow more significantly than it has been when we see a lot more people get access to CS2. Rare cases are very rarely going to decrease in price, especially over a long enough period of time. It's basically the most safe investment you can make, and honestly in the current market it might be one of the best investments you can make. We're going to talk about Paris in a little bit, but in my personal opinion I think there's so much potential with this area because there's so many different ways you can go. If you want to take a little bit more of a risky position, you can go for certain cases, and if you just want to play it completely safe and have these cases for 5 years and make a significant amount of profit, you also have the opportunities there. If I personally had money that I wanted to invest today, I would probably go with cases, and even if I had money that I wasn't sure about when I wanted to invest, I think cases in their current price point for most of them are probably not a bad pickup, especially if you're looking to hold onto cases for a year at least. Most of these cases are going to increase significantly over the next year, most likely. I mean, we can look at the past year and just see how many of these cases have increased pretty much all across the board. There's not really a single case that didn't increase a decent amount over the past year that's in the rare drop pool. Now, specifically focusing in on Paris capsules or Paris investments in general, I really like them, but not specifically Paris. I just like major capsules in general. That's because of a couple different reasons. The first of which is it's really easy to make a huge amount of profit when we're talking percentage wise, just because they're so cheap already. 25 cents is an extremely cheap price point for nearly any investment in the current market in CSGO investing. You're not going to find a single case that cheap, let alone something that's actually a good investment, and that's what major capsules offer in the current format. They offer a super cheap investment opportunity. The downside that comes with that is obviously everyone is able to see that as well. It's an investment open to everyone, and that creates a really big imbalance between people investing and the demand afterwards. We can see that with stuff like RMR, how there was so many people that wanted to invest in and the demand afterwards was super low. However, circling back to the Paris capsules for an investment purpose, I really like them in their current format. I think a lot of the stickers definitely show that they have a significant amount of demand afterwards. The problem is definitely going to come in the supply and the amount of people that are willing to unbox them afterwards. This is really where I struggle with the autograph capsules because autograph capsules themselves drop off significantly in demand afterwards. Other than the contenders autograph, these two autograph capsules, and I guess the champions I really just excluded already, really concern me just because so many people are uninterested in these right now. However, just because we're not going to be seeing another major for potentially about 8 months time on the shorter end, and I think that most of these capsules are going to have a relatively easy path to success. We can look at Berlin 2019, stickers that were absolutely atrocious, possibly rated one of the worst inside the entirety of CSGO, and a lot of these stickers reached incredible heights in price because of all the aspects coming together. Now obviously part of that was a huge FOMO in investing, but that's not necessarily not going to happen again here as well. Paris is a very good looking sticker, which possibly makes it even more susceptible for something like that to occur. In the current form of the market, I think this is a really good opportunity to potentially look into this area, because it seems like even though a lot of people think think it's going to be overinvested. The fact is, a lot of factors that have benefited capsules in the past are working for Paris in its current form. But obviously do your own research and don't just take anyone's opinion. Now when it comes to Stockholm and Antwerp, there's also a very significant increase in price for a lot of these, especially over the past month. We've seen a quite different shift than what we were seeing beforehand. A lot of Antwerp and Stockholm are on the rise, and that's a really good thing for investors, not only people who have picked up these capsules in the past, but also showing that older capsules definitely don't fall out of favor if we see new borderless ones as significantly as some people might have suspected. Obviously, we saw that huge drop off when Paris was released, and possibly we're never going to see that high of a price again. But it's also really hard to argue against the fact that these capsules are once again growing, which is a very good sign potentially if you think that the Copenhagen Major is going to be released with some brand new borderless stickers. Now in my personal opinion, although I do really like Stockholm and Antwerp, I personally would probably put my money in towards Paris if I didn't have a super large amount, just because Paris is significantly cheaper. I mean, depends on what capsule you're looking at specifically, but if you're looking at Stockholm capsules, all of them are relatively expensive. You look at Antwerp and some of them are still quite expensive. For me personally, I like to go for a large quantity. It's why I have 10,000 cases. And I also think it comes down to the risk factor as well. Stockholm and Antwerp, at least at this point, have proven that they're probably going to be a relatively safe investment. We've already seen them drop down quite significantly. There's not too much lower they can really go, whereas Paris is definitely a little bit more risky and definitely holds a bit more of a reward in terms of ROI because you're buying in at such a cheaper price point. Now, if you wanted to check out Antwerp or Stockholm as an investment, I think now would definitely be the time to do so as well, just because a lot of these capsules are starting to show that they're picking up a little bit in price, and I don't see them, like I mentioned before, coming back down anytime soon. Now, the last thing on my list is skins, and skins are a little bit of a difficult one because they're not really investments, but if we look at the 6-month graph, we can see that they had a crazy transformation over the past 6 months. A lot of them went super high and are now possibly sitting at lower levels than they were 6 months ago. Now, this is because of the summer fall off combined with the fact that a lot of them lost everything they gained from CS2, so they're just sitting at slightly a lower level. However, this is a very crucial point of CSGO investing that a lot of people end up missing out on, and that's the fact that not 100% of your inventory has to be dedicated towards investment. Personally, I have about $1,000 worth of play skins that I just like to have in game. If you view this game only as an investment purpose, it's going to absolutely destroy this game for you, and that's something you need to make very clear, is that if you enjoy playing this game but you don't have any play skins and that's something you truly care about, like you sold off your play skins to make investments, it's not going to be fun for you. Your investments are probably not going to be sold at the correct point because you're just going to sit there and watch them all day. It's not going to make you a good investment, and that's exactly what you need to understand, is that's not the way that you're going to make a significant amount of profit. But that's all I got. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.